plants for y'all to,
Oh, you did?
yeah,
You got a tomato plant too?
add tomato plants. I'm trying to get it so it's not, there we go.
There you go.
All right, let me see. We gonna look right. Look right here.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I see
Oh, look
that.
right here. See where my hand, where my finger is?
I see your hand.
All right, look right now.
Good morning. I'm glad that you came, Rakina.
I'm just gonna hold it. All right.
Are you gonna hold it?
I'm just gonna hold
All right, but it ain't gonna be no long run out thing.
it. Okay.
But
just
first
look
of
right
all,
here.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you asked me if anything I could do to help you. That I'm more than willing to help you. Anything you ask me to do. First of all, Rakina, you's my oldest granddaughter, and you've always been real smart, and I hope you continue to do it. And I am 83 years old.
Yeah, tell us where you're from.
I'm from I'm from P-Road, Alabama. It's P-R-O-T-E.
P Road.
P-Road, Alabama. That is about 60 miles south of Tuskegee Institute.
Mm.
I was born excuse me, September 14th, 1937, in Bullock County. I grew up on a farm. My dad was a farmer. That's all he had done all of his life. And he was the world's best farmer. He always knew how to raise things to support his family. Had raised 11 children. And what we mostly had to eat was what we grew on the farm.
Did you have animals on the farm?
We had animals, we had cows, we had milk cows, we had billy goats, we had chicken, eggs.
What?
We didn't eat our eggs. We sold our eggs at 60 cents a dozen.
Wow.
We sold our eggs. We couldn't afford to
eat them.
We had to sell them. And what we sold our eggs for to buy our school pencils, papers, whatnot for our school. And first of all, when I first started working on the farm, my dad taught me how to break up a garden. And that is make sure that you go out there and get this soil.
Till the ground.
Till the ground real good.
Okay.
And once you get it all tilled good, get all the little fragments out of it, get you a little rake and rake it out. And once you get it all raked out, get your plants. And when we started planting cotton, we break up the land and we have to go out there and lay the rows off. At least 2 foot apart in order for you could be able to walk between the rows as you work them. And as the cotton came up, we took our plow, barred it off, and once we barred it off, took our hoe, went down and made sure the cotton stalk was at least 12 inches apart, and made sure the grass was between them, because if you let the grass grow up, they're going to take it away from you. You got to make sure that you're able to go out there and work it with a hoe. Make sure you get all the grass out. Once you get it grass all grassed out, then we go back there with our tools, plow around it, pull the dirt back up around it, make sure the roots are not exposed to the sun, because they had to be covered up at all times. And as the cotton grew, we had to go there we had what's called boll weevils.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Well,
it's a pest, right?
Huh?
The boll weevil is a pest when you have cotton. A pest.
There was a pest, and there was a straight nuisance. And when the cotton goes up about waist high, first of all, it produces a bloom, and then you have your they come up with blooms on them, and then we have I don't know what the island that come there.
Then you have the little cotton that we have for
clothes. Once the bloom falls off, then you have a little bow, look like a small egg, and a small egg on there, and as the bowl grows, it has cotton in the middle of it. But if you have the boll weevils that come there and punch the
egg out?
No, when you punch the little bowl, and once you punch the bowl, it automatically kills it. It's non-productive. It just dies.
Oh man.
And the boll weevils had got so bad, so we had to get chemicals sprayed like insecticide, and so that was kind of faded out. But once we started to plant in 1st of March,
Okay.
and we work in the field from March, April, May, June, July, when we just call it lay it by. You don't go back in the field no more until
after July.
Huh?
You don't go in the field anymore after July.
Well, I'm gonna walk you through that.
Oh, okay.
After July, that's whenever it started producing the bolls, whatnot, and once you July comes, then it started, bolls started opening up, and they had to go there to pick the cotton out. Pick it out to what they call the bud.
Okay.
And they had a little, when it opened up, and the reason it opened up is that in the fall of the year, and works from there. School started, we had to stay out of school to pick cotton.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it was, and it got a back bending situation all the time. That was
and now from when you was a kid all the way until when?
Well, now when we was kids, we didn't go out there in the field. Cause I wasn't big enough. Once we got big enough to go out there and help, we had to go out there and help the mom and dad to gather the crop. And we stayed. We supposed to went to school. We had to stay out of school to help gather the cotton. And it only come in a season. And when if you don't get any season, you're gonna lose it.
Okay.
And just like we have what you call a hurricane season, but the cotton is all at its peak, it'll come out and it'll blow all the cotton out on the ground. Blow it out.
And then it's ruined.
Huh?
Then it's ruined.
Huh?
It's ruined?
It's not ruined, but
okay.
but when you take it, when you go out there and that picks up off the ground, it has a stain in it. And whenever you take it to the cotton mill to have to separate the lint from the seeds, you have a pile of lint. Well, in fact, about what's called a bale. It's called
bale of cotton.
A bale of cotton. That is 1,500 pounds.
Whew.
1,500 pounds of cotton. No, I'm sorry. No, it's not. Yeah, 1,500 pounds. When you go to have it ginned, they call it ginned, you gotta separate the seeds from the lint. The lint cotton is what you see one of you, as that alcohol where they have pure lint cotton, rub it over. That's lint.
Oh, okay.
Seeds is being separated out. Then you take the seeds, it's to be 1,000 pounds of seed, and you have it'd be 500 pounds of seed, and then we have what you call a bale, which would be 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds of cotton.
That's exactly 1,000 pounds of cotton.
Ooh wee.
And you only get about this is going up higher numbers. If you got $200 out of that pound, that's what you got for your cotton. And then if you got ready to plant corn, you got to go back to the same thing and build your broadcast the land. You're gonna put your corn at least 2 foot, more than 2 foot apart.
Okay.
2 foot apart, and then you plant the seeds, drop it. Sometimes we have a grain of corn, and we drop off every step. You see one step, then you drop another grain. You about another step. We had rows.
So every step.
No. Just like if you go and start walking.
Okay.
And you will have 1 foot, then you go another step, put another grain.
Okay, gotcha.
And each grain makes 1 stalk. And when you get 1 stalk, sometimes, or most of the time, you get, like you go and buy corn, the bait. Some of them have 2 stalks on it. And they multiply. And 2 stalks of corn, two, it's called a ships of corn. And we have, a field is be 10 acres. You know what an acre is?
Ooh, yes, that's big, like a football field.
Absolutely. We had a 10-acre field.
Of corn?
10 acres to, yeah, corn. And cotton we had, wasn't one or two rows, we had a field of it. And we had to stay out there gather the corn, and the cotton would come in first, would be, like well, like I said, in September.
Mm-hmm.
We went from September, picking the cotton, got to go over and over it again.
I remember you telling me that September 1st, that's when I need to put my collard greens in the ground. That
would be highly recommended.
That'd be the
collard
best
greens.
thing.
It's just around the 14th of September, you go to the store, get your plants, and plant them at least a foot apart.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they grow
big.
Yeah, they go that big around.
Mm-hmm.
They have leaves on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when you start plant your collard green in September.
All right, well, tell me about planting tomatoes.
So this is a big tomato here. And see this tomato here, when you take it out of this pot, just read that information on that. Do you have that information?
I got it right here. So it says this is a celebrity hybrid tomato. It's a determinate. That means it's going to stop growing a certain height. Full sun, 6 hours, 24 to 36 inches apart.
36 inches apart?
That's what it says. 20.
Well, that's exactly what it means. That is 36 inches. That's a foot.
That's 3 feet.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. 3 feet apart. 36 inches. Because this grows, takes room for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my mom said that you always grew the best tomatoes, so I need to know what your secret is for your best tomato plants.
Well, best tomatoes are this about. Get you some Miracle-Gro. Don't just. Well, number one is when you put this tomato plant in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put fertilizer in it when you first plant it.
Okay.
But make sure it catch roots.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put just a little, I would say about much you can pick up in your finger, got sprinkled all around. And then put it around there. And make sure you keep plenty of dirt around these roots.
Okay.
And if you keep the dirt around the roots, make sure you don't overwater it. Kind of keep it good and wet. And as it started putting out, and as this tomato grow up, now first of all, when you plant this tomato, you need to get your little stick and put it right down there by it,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of keep it tied up where it won't just fall over.
Okay.
And it's constantly, and as it grows taller, you get you another little piece of string and tie it around. I always take a little string and tie it around it, because if it fall over on the ground, they would run.
Okay.
That's what tomatoes.
All right, let me see what else is over here. What we got?
That's pepper.
Bell peppers.
Bell pepper. Well, bell pepper really is not gonna grow all that tall. See, you got. Let me throw on that. Where you get these from?
I got those from Crestview Nursery. My sister and I went to Crestview
good.
yesterday.
Crestview Nursery. You don't get them at Walmart.
You can, but I was in Crestview. So.
Oh. All right. Well, that's good. Now read this information on it. That's what you look at. You always.
I can't reach it, Granddad.
Little tips on that.
Let's see. This is a
Let me see it.
green bell sweet pepper. Full sun, 18 to 24 inches apart.
18, 24.
Plant deep.
Huh?
It said to plant it deep.
Well.
I don't ever remember you planting any bell peppers. I remember okra.
I plant bell peppers. I plant bell peppers.
Okra and peas is what I remember the most when I was growing up.
And see, this mature in 75 days.
Okay. That's 2.5 months. 2 months since, yeah.
Your 30 days is a month, then
60 days and a half. So yeah, 2.5 months.
2.5 months. And make sure you get plenty. But space at least 18 inches apart.
1.5 feet.
Yeah. Girl, you good. You got back like that.
Well, you know, you're the expert gardener now, so I gotta ask you.
Listen, I love the farm because that's all I grew up with. I worked on a farm. I didn't like it, but and as you know what?
You didn't like it?
Huh?
You didn't like farming?
Well, Rakina, listen, girl. I was compelled to have to farm. But like I said, if I had to go back to it, I could still do it. But I don't like it. But I got those things that got more uh, sophisticated now. You got to have farming equipment and all. But back then during our time, I don't
Everything was by hand.
a hand feel. But it's like the chickens and all up there. We had chicken, we raised them. We had cows, we milked them, had butter. And you seen them churn. The grandmama got up there in Dover. We had we'd go out there in the morning time and milk the cows, bring the milk into the house, give us a cheesecloth. Mama would do that. Strain it, put it aside.
To make butter?
Well, not right that minute, but it gave it the time to process.
Okay.
And just like I said, we go there and milk this morning. Next morning, used to set us. I take about 3 days for it to get cream on the top of it.
Oh.
When it comes to cream, then you put it in the churn, and then you start churning it up, and that's how you get your butter. And then we had chicken. We butcher our chicken, hog.
How long did you keep your chicken before y'all butcher them?
Chicken? What do you got? A little before they started laying.
So you butchered them before they started laying?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? I thought you wait till after they finish laying till you butcher them.
No, they done got too old. Well, you know, it's a process. But if you want little young fries, that's another thing we've had to. Mama was, we didn't have no incubator. We had she would
put the eggs under the chicken.
Yeah, when the chickens started clucking, she done laid her last egg. Then you started walking around there clucking. Then she no longer gonna be laying in it. And then you need to put her get some eggs from someplace and put her eggs up under that chicken.
Okay.
And then it'll take 21 days for the bitch to be packed.
Yep, that's true.
It's all come from experience. And when them chickens come off, when the last bitty hatch off there, sometimes there might be 1 or 2 eggs and they don't hatch. Then you know that's, if it's been up under that 21 days, that egg is not any good.
It's no good.
You need to get rid of it. Of course, it's time for her to do it.
Well, I've seen people put in eggs and eggshells and stuff, and I actually have put eggshells in my hole before I put my plant in there. And people put fish heads in there.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a good fertilizer.
Yeah, better than Miracle Grow?
Huh?
Better than Miracle Grow?
Miracle Grow is you put it around it, but them eggshells and all goes into the bottom of the whatever you plant. And then Miracle Grow, you only put it around it.
Okay.
But they have one of the things I recommend, but always tell, before you do anything, read the instructions.
There you go. That's it. Read the instructions. But you know, instructions versus experience sometimes. Instructions versus experience sometimes is different, you know.
Yeah.
Because what the instructions say sometimes don't give you what you have experienced. And if somebody knows something from years and years gone by, that is, to me, is more.
Experience is the best teaching you can get.
There you go. That is true.
You can, and let me see, and also, You know, like you plant peanuts.
I never planted peanuts.
Well, I'm just going to, as a farmer, I've planted peanuts. But you plant them just like you do corn. But see, the peanuts, you got to plant them 18, I mean more than 18 inches, 2 foot apart.
Mm-hmm.
Cause when they start growing, they're gonna cover it first.
Okay.
And then you have to go back and ply them up. Once you ply them up, shake them up, put them in a pile. I tell you what, it's nothing like being on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good experience.
Well, I hope I can grow my farm up and have a little something. Now, I don't have 10 acres to farm up, but maybe one. Maybe I can use 1 acre and just dedicate that to the
1 acre.
Dedicate that to the tomatoes and blueberries and peppers and all the other stuff that I have planted.
Well, it's a good experience. Is that?
This is a pepper. That's a hot pepper.
I see it here. And them when you get ready to pull these out, always wet them real good.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take your knife and rip it. Always take a knife and kind of split it over.
Ah, so you don't disturb the roots too bad?
Absolutely. And it's a little sharp knife and come outside and shell it out like you do a peanut.
Okay.
And that's the same thing, but and always just like that bucket there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't plant that no deep in where the top of that
The top of the
bucket be what the soil is.
Okay.
But don't put it down too deep. And another thing about them seeds, if them seeds they put them about inch deep,
Mm-hmm.
don't put them in deep in there. Cause you plant them too deep, they're gonna sit in what it calls.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you wanna do you like to plant from seed or plant from starts like that when you plant
I
stuff?
would prefer plants if because they already up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got, but now it's like peas, you have to plant. Peas have to come.
Like them purple whole peas.
Yeah, purple whole peas. You get the peas and plant the peas. But as far as pepper, now another thing you get them okra seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think of the okra you should get.
I love okra. I have, so the kind of okra I have right now, Clemson spineless.
Clemson spineless.
And I have red burgundy and orange.
Uh,
And Grandma, come and say hey and tell them how you used to work in the farm and no, you used to harvest with Granddad now. And say hey to Terica because she's watching.
Terica.
And Kamila and Cameron, and our family over there, and Rob over there in Germany.
I hope y'all doing fine. We over here trying to get our garden together. All I have is a bell pepper plant.
Well, Grandma, you gotta say who you are now.
I'm grandmother.
Talking to the world.
She's camera shy.
Well, just tell me how you used to. Well, mostly it's just family, but anyway.
I'm doing it for my granddaughter. I ain't doing it
Tell me, all of those peas you used to have me picking when I was a kid, with the pot of peas and the brown paper bag.
Oh boy. You never know what it's all about till you walk about.
Bye, Grandma. Well, you are talking to Terica. She gonna be so excited to see you say hey. Well, all right, Granddad. This wraps up our interview for the day then, since Grandma acted all shy. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
What else you want to know? If I know, I'll tell you.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get
what
my
I
garden
know.
and trying to get something to grow.
But see, what I know, I don't pass it on. I can't teach nobody that.
Yeah.
Tell them if you know. If you know, you pass it on.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what my granddad had taught me, and he taught me well. That's all he knows, and that's all I ever know. I tell you what I did do. I came to Fort Walton in the July of 1955. I had been to Montgomery to volunteer for the Navy, not the Navy, for the Army, me and my classmate, but we didn't do too well. So I had to take that long trip back home on the bus.
Oh.
I said, well, what is the choice? And we had a big farm. That was in 1955. I remember just like I remember you walking through that door this morning.
Wow.
And I said, Dad, I said, I want to know if I could go back to Fort Walton with my friends. He said I can get a job. And my dad said, yes, you can go. Always had to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
Said, yeah, said you could go. But you got to come back home in September when school starts.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yes, I will. Well, I came to Fort Walton, I tilled here and here and there, washed the dishes, did the large job. And then when September came, I came back home. And I told my dad, I said, well, I said, they held back 2 weeks on my check. I need to go back to Fort Walton and pick up a check. He said, yeah, you can go. And he let me go, went back to Fort Walton. I got back to Fort Walton, a friend of mine, he wasn't a friend, he was a cousin of mine. I went over and got my check and I cashed it. Then I was no money. But anyway, I had to go back home and help with the farm because I had my 2 older brothers. It was not, I was the oldest one there.
Okay.
And I was about 17, 18 years old, and I used to have haul cows to the market, pick up. Yeah, that was my job.
That's hard work. I don't know if I want my farm to be that big to where I got to have some cows, but.
Well,
did you ever have goats?
we had one billy goat.
That's it?
Yeah, and one billy goat. My dad rode him home in his jumper pocket. Back in old, I don't know. And we raised it.
And y'all ate it, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. We got old enough.
I was thinking about getting goats.
Well, if you have a goat, you can't keep nothing right because they eat up everything around it.
What if I lock it up?
Huh?
If I put it in the pen?
Yeah, but you don't want to keep it pent up unless you got to feed it every time you turn around. You got to have some outrun.
I'll let them out. I just won't let them in my garden.
Oh, yeah?
Keep the garden fenced off. Well, all right. Thanks, Granddad. Say bye to everybody.
Bye-bye. Enjoyed it. I hope you get something out of it.
Thank you.